In conversation with Chrisoula Panagoulia. Chrisoula Panagoulia was born in Athens, Greece, but at the age of 5 months old, her family moved to Sydney, Australia. 11 years later, they came back to Greece. She's a teacher of English, specialized in students with learning difficulties, and oral examiner as well. In her free time, she loves to read novel, though her time is very limited lately, and currently is working on her next novel whose title she hasn't decided on yet. And on today's episode of our interview, it's my utmost pleasure and joy to have on the show today, Chrisoula Panagoulia. How are you doing, Chrisoula?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me there with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show too. It's
Thank
amazing
you.
we can do this.
Yeah, well, it's the first time for me, so I feel a little bit anxious, excited. I've never been asked any questions, never. It's the first time.
It's amazing to know. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
Chrisola, your book follows the story of Georgia, who is from a patriarchal and authoritative family in a World War II striking village in Greece. This also follow our ambition to leave the poverty and misery behind to start a new life. I would like to ask you, how does this book come about? What inspired you to write One More Smile?
Well, the thing is that I'm into history, and
Mm,
because my parents lived in post-war Greece in a village. Okay, they were from different villages. Anyway, they, as young adults, they experienced the poverty and the misery of that era. They were very poor.
mm,
All those people over there, not only in the villages but in the cities as well.
mm.
So I got some information from my mom. I asked her how people used to live there, what they eat, what they ate, things like that. And I also did my own research. So mostly the inspiration came from my mother's information.
Wow. That's quite lovely to know, really. It's amazing to hear the starts to the making of One More Smile. And if you have a copy there, please share to the camera.
Yes, of course. Here it is.
Beautiful cover, really. Beautiful.
It is.
That's amazing. Now, I'd also like to ask you, Chrysola, for
Yes.
readers who haven't read the book yet, and of course, without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we'd expect in terms of themes picking up One More Smile?
Well, One More Smile is set in post World War II.
Mm,
My hero is Georgia. She lives in a very uh, poor house. Well, everybody there is in her village, Duneika, is poor, okay, because
mm,
she has been growing up with the threat of bombings as she grew up. Now she's a young adult, okay, but because of the poverty and the misery she's been living, because her father has
mm.
been very, very strict, she wants to leave. She wants to leave that life behind her, and she wants to go somewhere else, abroad, not in Greece. She wants to go abroad. Um, well, she doesn't know where exactly to go,
What's that?
but finally she decides to go to Australia. So the story goes on to Australia, where there she leads another life. She meets some friends over there. There is some backstabbing, there is some romance, love, and things like that. But I can't say that it's a love story, that it's a romance story. No, it's a
Mm,
history drama one.
mm. Wow, that's quite lovely to know, really. I love your sound of that. Sounds quite amazing, really. Something else I'd like to add is the fact that when I read through the description page of the book on Amazon, I was quite intrigued by the description. It sounds quite amazing to me. Yeah, so that's an amazing work. Thank you for sharing.
Thank, thank you. I thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, again, I'd like to ask you, I've always been fascinated about how authors, especially novelists like yourself, craft long sentences and bring words together in a way that eventually makes a great novel. This always leave me thinking about how exactly they got their ideas and inspirations. Now, as far as writing is concerned, I would love to ask you too. How do you get your inspirations and ideas? Where did they come from?
Well, at present, I'm editing a new novel. Okay, it's already finished, but I'm editing it. But I just want to tell you that this book is set in modern day Greece.
Mm,
Okay, it has nothing to do with the past. Regarding the inspiration of this book,
yeah.
I will tell you exactly what happened. Many years ago, when I was at the beach with my husband and I was suntanning, there was a man in a wheelchair and a person behind him, a male one. Okay, he was pushing the wheelchair slowly. I don't know what relationship the two men had between
Mm,
them, all right. But at some point, the person who was pushing the man in the wheelchair stopped the wheelchair at the edge of the sand. Anyway,
yeah.
anyway, so he took that person in his arms and he left him. He let him sit on the waves, you know, and that was tremendous. Why? Because that person didn't have any legs.
Mm,
So when I saw that scene, I said, Chrisoula, wow, you have to do something with that scene. And that's how the next book, I haven't found a title for it. And I'm telling you now that I didn't find a title for One More Smile until I had finished the last sentence. So the
wow.
same goes with the one that I'm editing now. I haven't found a title yet,
Wow.
but the fact that I saw that person in the wheelchair and then that I saw him without any legs, disabled, that was a shock for me. So that's when I said, Priscilla, you've got to write something about that man. Of course,
Mm,
I couldn't go near him and ask him what had happened. I'm a very discreet person. So I just used my imagination.
wow. That's quite amazing, really. It's amazing how writers get inspiration from different things happening around them, things they've been through personally. Even many people would say, even in dreams. It's quite amazing. I'm quite excited to hear your storyline in there and how you incorporated it as an idea and inspiration. Sounds great, really.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to ask you, Chrysola, I'm curious to know if you experienced any challenges while writing your book. If there is any, could you share with us what challenge it is and how you ultimately overcame it? Also, how do you handle criticism as a writer?
Okay. Well, first of all, I will tell the truth. I don't know what the audience will believe about me, but I'm telling you the truth. I have had no support from my family or relatives
Mm.
regarding my writing journey. Okay. The only support I have and still have is from my cousin Vicky. She was born in Australia and we grew up together. So I've got the
Oh,
support of Vicky. She says, carry on, Pisula, and don't care about your family. They're just jealous of you. And another friend of mine, Dimitra, she's another person who supported me and still supports me, telling me, carry on, don't stop. Since you've got all those ideas and you want to express yourself by writing your novels. Don't let anybody let you down, put you down.
wow. That's
And now,
amazing.
yeah. And as far as criticism is concerned, well, the truth is that I have had a one star, but without any review, and that was really,
Wow.
yeah, it was. At first, I was shocked, but then, I felt really sad because I see that okay, you've given me a 1 star, but why?
Wow.
Why haven't you written a review? If you had written a review, I could have not mistake. I could have. Um I could have improved the next book that I am writing right now, let's say. Okay, so I believe that if you want to give a review, give it a 1 star, give it a 2 star, but at least tell the author what was wrong, what you didn't like. Didn't you like the syntax? Didn't you like the grammar? Didn't you like the punctuation? Whatever, the story, the plot, what? Tell me that so that I won't make the same mistake with my next novels. I just have to accept it. I just have to accept it. And, on the other hand, it's an opportunity to improve yourself, even if we've got bad reviews.
Yeah, I love your take on that. And it's kind of funny how people would leave a star rating without a single review. I mean,
Yeah,
you've left a bad rating, 1 out of 5,
exactly.
and without any obvious reason. That's a blind review, I'd say.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, there's no obvious reason. At least tell me, what is it that you didn't like? You didn't like the plot? Okay, thank you very much. I'll try some other later. Shana.
Oh goodness, yeah. It's amazing how some readers are just so hard to please. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah, that's
that's quite
true. That's true.
understandable.
That's true.
Well, that was quite fun. I love the fact that you mentioned that. It's nice to know about your challenges and also your take about criticism. Thank you so much for sharing. I'd like to ask you, apart from One More Smile, do you have any other works you've altered or maybe currently working on?
Well, I have contributed to this poetry book,
Wow.
Semaphore with Soon Not to Be Strangers. I
Oh.
met Ian Wilcox. He's a visually impaired person. He's a very good person. I met him on Facebook many years ago, and he knew that I was preparing One More Smile, so he asked me to contribute to this poetry book, and I said, okay, I will if you want me to, but unless you give me the title, otherwise I can't write a poem. So he gave me two titles. I read the poems, and they are in the book.
Wow.
They are in the poetry book. And as for something that I'm doing at present, it's the next book that I'm editing, and the third book that I'm preparing. I'm in the middle of it. This has to do with the past. It's about Georgia's sister, Eleni. Okay, it's not a sequel of One More Smile. It's not a sequel, not at all. It's something different. But this time, I'm talking about Eleni, her sister. I don't know when that will be ready because, as I told you,
Mm.
I'm in the middle of the story. So when I finish, I will have to edit it.
That's amazing. I love the fact that you contributed to that book you just showed to the camera. Sounds great to me. And it's lovely to know you have other works currently ongoing. And I hope that goes on successfully.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a copy over here, you know, and I've dogged the pages so that I know where my poems are.
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Now, could you tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? Also, are there any challenges you've encountered ever since you got published?
Yes, of course, there are challenges, and there always will be challenges when you get published.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, is that you need to get noticed. You need to get noticed. So even if you get your book out there through a traditional publisher or do it yourself, like I'm a self published author, you need to expose yourself, you need to promote yourself. Okay, so promoting yourself by yourself, like I did, is very difficult because you have to promote your book via social media. You have to promote yourself through your friends, your relatives, if they are willing, of course,
Mm.
to listen to you. Okay. So the procedure is a little bit difficult, I would say. However, if you really want to get out there, you have to do everything to get
Yeah.
your book out there. No matter
Absolutely.
how tiring it is, no matter how time consuming it is, you have to do
Yeah.
something. Otherwise, you're not writing. Well, if you think about it, writing yourself, not for other people. You're writing for yourself, for you to
Mm.
read it. And second comes for people to read your book. And I want to tell you something, and I want the audience to listen to me. Believe me or not, as a reader, I haven't read my book.
Mm.
As a reader, I haven't read it. I don't want to read it.
Wow.
I just don't
That's
want
an
to read it.
amazing discovery, Chrisoula.
Yes, I don't want to read it. I think I would be bored of reading my own work. That's what I feel that I will be bored of reading my own work. I don't know. Well, at some point, I might want to say to myself, Chrisoula, okay, summer is coming, so take one more spell and start reading it and see what mistakes you have made, whether you like it or not, whether you would give it a 5 star or a 4 star or a 3 star. I have to do that. I have to read it as a reader.
Oh,
I don't know when I will get up to that.
wow. That's an amazing discovery. Thank you so much for adding. And it sounds quite fun to me, really.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, I'd also like to ask you, Chrisola, is there anything that you love to share with the viewers about your book that we did not mention in this interview? I'd love the viewers to know.
Yes, I want to tell I want to say that this book, One More Smile, was edited by my ex-student, Barbara.
Mm.
She's an editor, and she offered to edit it for me, and she's done a really good job. She's done a
Wow.
really good job.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's a great shout out you're doing to her.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. That's lovely to
She needs
know.
appraisal. She needs to be recognized. She needs appraisal. If I don't do it, who will? Then, after all, she helped me get this book out.
Wow.
I would be ungrateful if I didn't mention her.
That's great you mentioned. Thank you. Very lovely to know. And I'd also like to ask you, as a published author, what sort of advice do you offer other writers who are still struggling with publishing a book? What would you advise people in this category?
Whatever the genre, I would advise new authors to embrace all the rejections that they have.
Hmm.
It's not, it makes you feel depressed, it makes you feel sad, upset, I know, but if we don't embrace our rejections, then we will not have the opportunity to improve ourselves. So, whether other people support us or not, we have to carry on writing. If it's in our heart, if it's in our soul, and we want to get it out of us, we have to start writing.
Hmm.
Keep the other people, they're not advocates, keep them away. Just find some time to write. I don't, well, it's very hard for me to write and to edit because I've got family commitments. I've got my students need preparation in the morning, so I don't really have much time to edit. But I need to do it at some point. And
Yeah.
some days when I feel that okay, Chrisoula, this sure can you can do it 2 hours later. I will edit. I will edit. Okay, or I will write some of the a paragraph or two of the next novel that I'm writing.
Hmm.
Um, so we have to be consistent about that. Keep writing. They
That's
shouldn't be
great.
afraid of anything. They shouldn't be afraid of rejection.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. I love your advice, Chrisola, and I'm hopeful that viewers, including myself, would love to utilize it. Now, in case we have some viewers who are currently watching this interview, I would love to get a copy of your book. On what platform is it available on for purchase?
Of course, it's on Amazon, both as a paperback and ebook. And as a paperback, they can find it on eBay, on Better World Books, on the Storygraph, and on Booktopia Australia, of course, for those who live in Australia. And I hope some of them are listening to me and are interested in buying a copy.
That's great. That's amazing. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Chrisoula Panagoulia's book directly on Amazon and also on other platform. So thank you so much, Chrisoula, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. It's awesome having this conversation with you.
I'm really glad to be here with you. I'm really glad. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful. I had a great time with you. And I
Thank
hope that
you.
our audience had a great time listening to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.